coming. How beautiful is this theater? Really, really cool. So, when NIGHTBREED came out 24 years ago, Mark, is it 24? 25. It's 20, it is officially 25 years now. That's how old you are. Clive had obviously had a great success with Hellraiser, and so the vision broadened for his retelling of the book Cabal. And if you don't know, something that's kind of legendary bulletin board fodder is just that the film got so re-edited, they wanted it marketed as a slasher film, that instead of the monsters being the heroes, the entire story got turned around until at the end of it was something that Clive couldn't even recognize as what he had written. And so the idea that someday there would be a director's cut is something that Clive never thought would happen. No one knew where the film was. It wasn't anything that he ever thought would happen. And so then Mark Miller one day found a box of video cassettes in Clive's house, and it started a 6-year mission to find the lost footage. And I feel like you should tell this part. So this is Mark Miller, Clive's Vice President of Seraphim. You went the tall person way. So tell people what they're going to see tonight.
Well, you're going to see the film that Clive wanted to show you guys 25 years ago. It's every bit. I mean, we found. I don't even know where to start. I'm beside myself.
Are you excited to show that on a big screen? That was the thing. Everybody has home theaters now, so the idea of the theatrical release isn't as big a deal. And I said to Mark, I was like, we're never going to see it on a big screen. Like everybody does. What, con screenings, stuff like that. I was like, no, it's got to be in a big theater.
We've done a couple of conventions for the older versions, but this is
a real movie. It's exciting. It's really cool. But so 6 years you worked on
6 years ago, I sent Clive a text message because I just found out that there was missing footage in NIGHTBREED, and I remember watching the film as a teenager and not understanding it. And sure, some of you understand that. And when I found out there was missing footage,
that man's nipples pierced.
Now we know. When I found out, I just, I said, well, hell, why doesn't this exist? And I sent Clive a text message, and I said, can we make this happen? Are the rumors true? Everyone is on the message boards is saying there's a director's cut coming out. And Clive replied, no, it's all hearsay, it's all conjecture. Much as I would like for it to happen, there is no director's cut. We don't even know where the footage is. And I replied eagerly, well, how about I give it a shot? Not fully understanding what the journey would require of me. But 6 years later, after screening many different versions of the film from VHS footage.
There's probably a lot of people here that don't know. There's a thing called the Cabal cut. And what happened was all of the videotape that was in the closet got put together, and it was like the kitchen sink version. So
right.
It's 3.5 mind-numbing hours of badly degraded videotape. And so the film that we'll be watching tonight is not that kind of thing. It's 20 minutes longer than the theatrical release.
It's 40 minutes
of new footage.
And it's actual film footage.
From the film.
For those of you that don't know, we found the film footage. Our colorist is here tonight. It's Steve here who made this happen. It's a beautiful thing.
Hiding in the Midwest.
Yeah, it was quite a story. We'll probably share that at the end, but there were a lot of ups and downs and hilarious stories. But it's been quite the journey.
And there was a huge, with this Cabal cut touring, there was a group called Occupy Midian, and didn't you come up with that?
The lovely Miss Ann Bobby coined.
And Bobby said we need to occupy Midian in
South Carolina.
A huge fan movement, like over 13,000 signatures, and
thanks to Ryan Danhauser and Jose Leitao.
Yeah, so there's hopefully some Occupy Midian people here tonight to experience this.
So yeah, it's a family reunion in every way. And I want to say a lot of people don't understand how we could find, you know, the VHS footage in Clive's own backyard, because see, it is rather humorous. But when I asked Clive, you know, how could this be possible? How could the search ultimately lead us back to your own supply closet? He said, well, you know, when the film came out, it was destroyed beyond recognition, and then he had to go promote a film that he had no interest in promoting, that was not the story he wanted to tell. And so by the time all was said and done, anything that said NIGHTBREED on it, you know, he wanted nothing to do with. So they got shoved on a shelf, and as fortune would have it, we found them. We created the Cabal cut, and it toured the world, and it got a lot of fan appreciation and support. And because of the signatures, we proved that the film was still very much loved, and there was an audience for it. And we found the footage, and we put it together with our editor Andrew Furtado, who's also here. You're going to meet all these wacky characters later, and you know, now the film is ready for you guys. Thank you for everything.
And in order for you to properly appreciate it, we're actually going to read Cabal in its entirety to you before.
Yeah, we watched the film to understand how close it is.
But we'll be doing a Q&A after the show, so please stick around. Do you have anything else to say? Well, Mark, Miller?
Enjoy.
Thank you guys for coming. Oh, wait, I did forget one thing. We have a trailer. My gallery, Century Guild, represents...
Always needs the last word.
As a painter, I can't help it. I forgot that we have this. Another artist that we represent is named Dave McKean. And I don't know if you know his work, but he's a brilliant designer and painter who is also a director. He did a movie called Mirror Mask with Jim Henson Company. And so he has a film that he's been working on for years and years. It stars the same little girl from Mirror Mask, who now is grown up and on the TV show Defiance. But she's in this film, and it's, so he put together a 4-minute kind of faux trailer for us to see tonight. So this movie is, it's not released yet, but you're getting a 4-minute sneak peek of his new film, Luna. And then it'll go right into NIGHTBREED. So yeah, so this is Dave McKean's film. Let's start this off.
I woke up and there he was. I think I'd only slept for a couple of hours. I remember calling the nurse because I couldn't see him. I couldn't see his chest moving. They couldn't find anything, any reason. We got home to a frozen, empty house. We didn't answer the phone, and then the arguments started. Storm of grief. On the 4th day, we had a huge fight, and the strangest thing happened. I'd taken an alarm clock to the hospital. I hadn't unpacked or anything. We left everything by the front door, and suddenly, right in the middle of this argument, the alarm clock went off. I hadn't wound it or set it, and we just stopped fighting. We just stopped and listened, and it was like it was like he wanted us to stop shouting at each other, like he was there.
I just think there is very little actual fact in our lives, very little reality. This is real, our conversation is real, but what's going to happen in an hour or so? You will have your version of events, I will have mine, and they will both be different. There will be a chaos of memories, misinterpretations, lateral connections, and they will all be a fantasy. No, in fact, everything that you hope for and dream about, that's all a fantasy. And the layers of associations and connections that every second your brain is making as we navigate this world, it is all just a fantasy. And yet it seems as real as the news on a screen, the sound of this table, the people we love. And that's why I think it's very important to deal with this definition of fantasy in our lives.
Do you?
Yes, I do. I know you don't, Grant, but I think that the world is big enough to accommodate both of us.
Well, that's nice.
Oh, it's just lost a bit of cotton frost. Yes, it's fine, isn't it?
It's all right. It's all just lovely. How can I help you?
I'm Mark Miller.
And I'm Clive Barker.
We're here to bring you for the very first time, the director's cut of Nightbreed.
I made a movie some 20 years ago called Nightbreed, which was based upon a novel, a short novel I wrote called Cabal. And unfortunately got some lousy handling with the studios who didn't really like the fact that I was making a movie about monsters that were heroes. And that was the whole point of the movie, but unfortunately when it was gutted and taken out to an audience in a really messed up form, nobody was able to really understand what the whole passion that driven the making of the movie was. So a few years ago, what, 6-7 years ago?
6 years ago, man.
I said to this man, it'd be really nice if we could find the missing pieces and put it back together again. This had been talked about off and on over the years, but it seemed almost impossible to achieve, partly because the pieces were in so many diverse places through various studio...
The studios couldn't even tell us.
No, they couldn't. I think they doubted whether the pieces actually existed. Mark sort of took this between his teeth, as it were, and I went for it. So on to you. How did that happen?
I wasn't about to let this go. You you gave me permission, and I took the ball and ran with it. And I just began cold calling until the trail led us back to a storage facility that had some VHS tapes on it.
And now, well, there were two. Yes, there was a storage facility and several storage facilities. It turns out, right?
This is true.
But the first one was actually here in this house, where I found some tapes which were unmarked and horribly messed up and poor copies of copies. But nevertheless, when examined closely, had, amongst a lot of other stuff, some of the missing portions of the film. There wasn't anything we could cut into the movie because it was so poorly reproduced, but it was there, and it proved that this stuff did exist. Where was the next place you went to?
Well, the next step was Russell Charrington.
Russell Charrington
Took that footage we found and the DVD that already existed, put them together, and created the Cabal cut.
I saw their God. I saw him. I can still smell him. He's out there.
Then there must be a time when somebody somewhere, either at Fox or Morgan Creek, their ears went up and they said, "Oh, I know where that is." Presumably, how did that happen?
I think it was because of the fan reaction, essentially.
Got it.
Occupy Midian started, and the film blew up. A 25-year-old film somehow became very important again.
That's wonderful. I mean, this is, if ever there was a validation of the internet, I don't like the word fan. The word fan seems demeaning to me. I prefer, enthusiast, passionate, supporter. These people right across the world who started to talk to me and to Mark and to each other about how much they had sensed that there was something else in the movie that they weren't getting and how much they wanted to see that. It really enforced for both of us the sense that if we could find this, we'd really be giving some people some real pleasure, and it would also, I have to say, heal some wounds and make wounds of a sense of failure, of missing the chance to defend my own work, perhaps, in a time when I was creatively less strong than I am now. But I'm not even sure that was all of it. I think I was up against a whole kind of mindset that said you don't talk about monsters as interesting or emotionally or creatively or theologically rich creatures. Sympathetic, exactly. You just beat them up and burn them. And that was not what I wanted to do with the movie. I wanted to send out a very different idea to people, and I think that we were able to do that now. We have 45 minutes now of footage that was not in the original picture. The movie is only 20 minutes longer, but that's because there's been a replacement of some footage and the addition of another 20 minutes of footage. So a total of 45 minutes of footage, is that right?
That's right.
Yeah, so that's a lot of movie.
It's an entirely new film.
It's an entirely new film, and new scoring elements, new sound elements, new digital cleanups of stuff right through the movie.
New monsters.
New monsters. I love that. That's the best one. New monsters. A sense that finally NIGHTBREED has come home to its creators, and it's those who wanted to go to Midian and meet the monsters can finally do so.